a ton of code for you called the anti-gravity. It was launched like this week.
Oh, really?
So yeah, it's super interesting.
All right, everybody check that out. So I just want to confirm, Jed, you were able to run a MATLAB simulation without having MATLAB license, correct?
Correct. He did the plot for us, and I asked him to extract the code in order to see how he write it. I have a big knowledge about MATLAB. I know how to read the code, and he provide us like the code as well. But
Amazing.
yeah,
So,
so but
wow,
I,
okay.
honestly, I didn't test the code to see if it matched the plot because I don't have the license for
I
it.
bet if you search for it as a student at Northwestern, you can
Yeah,
get, you probably have an access that you're not aware of for
sure.
MATLAB. So anyways, let's move on to Team 4. Team 4 has a whole project called Complex Projects, Vertical Integration. Did you want to share your screen or go through mine?
Yeah, I'll share my screen here.
Okay, I'll stop sharing then. Hold on.
So with our report, we used Canva AI to generate a presentation and then spent some time to clean it up. So I'll show the cleaned up version here, but also very curious about the last group. I saw they used Gamma and I didn't know how well that worked. That's a new tool to me.
Chad, I'll let you comment about Gamma on the chat in the chat room so that you can tell everybody how it worked for you. All right, Andrew, keep going and share your screen.
Yeah, I'm pressing the share screen button. It's not letting me.
Okay.
Might be because I'm on my work laptop and using the browser Zoom here.
Let me give you co-host privileges. Maybe that'll help.
Yeah, let's see. Button is still not doing anything for me.
Oh, you want me to share my screen? I've got your slides here.
Yeah, that's just what Canva AI spit out. I wanted to show the comparison, but we can walk through the paper too. I think that would be a better use of time here.
So the paper is this one here.
The bottom one.
Bottom one, PDF.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So what we researched and wrote out here was looking at how some industries that used to be fragmented, like rocket ships and cars, looking at Tesla and SpaceX here, could be looked at to bring some efficiencies to the construction industry or any other industry that does large mega projects. Because often things become fragmented and inefficient. So looking at how modern tools, especially at AI, could lend a hand here. There was really three main strategies that were recommended. One was soft vertical integration, which I see somewhat in my work, in which you don't actually vertically integrate all the stakeholders, but you get them all on the same page, the same collaboration software. So maybe when a large construction project is getting quality reviewed and you make a punch list of all the items that need correction, that's a cloud-based system where everyone is within the same tool and you're not emailing PDFs back and forth. Another key finding was using industry-specific AI. This would be a company using AI from the ground up so that all their information is in the same place. Everything's easily searchable. And the AI has been trained on industry-specific documents so that it can help suggest improvements. Yep. And then the last one here is the implementation of digital twins. And that's when you model everything in 3D for construction, often software Revit. And if you can get all some contractors within the same model, and use AI to help find conflicts and suggest solutions that can prevent issues in the field by solving them in your digital twin first.
I guess I've always seen digital twins as kind of a mathematical simulation or a model of a physical system that's dynamic, but that's also telemetry. So you've got information updating from the physical system into the simulation. And then the simulation becomes a representation of the physical system at any given time, right?
No,
And you can,
glad you
it works
brought
both
that up.
ways, right? I mean, the model can update the system and the system can update the model, right?
Right. So often these digital twins of the construction project get handed over to asset management, who keep the models updated as they replace equipment in the building.
Right.
Yeah.
So for example, an HVAC system, you could have a digital twin of an HVAC system. It'll tell you, what dampers are open and closed, which ones should be opened and closed, which filters need to be replaced, which motors are overheating,
Right.
the status of every thermostat in the system, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So you can see where potential overheat situations are, or maybe some inefficiencies, rooms that are getting overheated or underheated. So, and then the system can basically adapt to what's happening in the real world, right?
Right.
I can almost see a digital twin flying an airplane one day, right?
Yeah, no doubt.
I mean, that's where I see commercial aviation going. I see that we're going to be able to fly airplanes either from the ground or from an onboard, edge computer, if you will, that's simulating what's happening on the plane, right? Any questions for Team 4? Otherwise, nice job. Do I have your permission to publish this?
Yeah, anything for you, Mark.
Okay, sounds good. All right, thank you. Nice job, Team 4. Let's move on to Team 5, Group 5. Nikhil, right? The transformation of Nikhil Baldada, right? So this is a taking the leap from code to leadership, right? Who wants to go through this?
Yeah, I'll walk us through this, Professor. And if it's all right, I have a PPT. I'll walk it through real quick.
Okay, I've stopped sharing, so you can go ahead.
Okay, just a second. I'm sharing my screen.
Yeah, there it is. We see it.
Okay, great. Yeah, so the case study is about navigating. So basically, it's similar to what the book that Group 1 did, transitioning from being an engineer to a leader. So our case study follows the journey of Nikhil Baldota. He used to be an engineer, and then he got promoted to a manager. This is a real person from Pune, India. He works for this company called Tech Bulls Soft Tech. So yeah. So why we did this case is because usually when someone gets promoted from being an engineer to a manager, it's seen as a level up. But in essence, it's not just you stepping up to the next level of the same job. Moving on, becoming a manager from being an engineer is very different. So it should not just be seen as a promotion, but as a as a as a whole journey jump altogether. And when you're an employee, when you're an engineer, your failure is just yours. But when you're a manager, the team, you're responsible for the whole team. And that's a huge mindset shift. So which is what we're trying to capture with this case. We put a little bit about what the company does. It's a soft tech company. So they're like a software company who are in fintech, banking, and digital payments domains. And when we look at the manager we are following, Nikhil, he did his computer science undergrad in 2017, and then he joined the company as a fresher, and then he got promoted, and then he got further promoted to a manager, which is where the case starts. So yeah, technically, we've gone into a little bit of detail about what is expected. So we cover Watkins's 7 seismic shifts and also Peter Drucker's self-management principles about what is important for you to understand about yourself, which is covered in the self-management principles. And then the 7 seismic shifts talk about what you are when you are an engineer and how your thought process changes, or how you view the company, the project, and the people you're working with should be shifting. So if I have to say an example, when you are a manager, you're being a specialist, but when you're becoming a leader, you are becoming a generalist, in the sense you're not just focusing on one thing, you're looking at different parts that come together to make the success of your team. Right? So that's the theoretical lens of the problem that we're looking at and what's expected. So
By the way, in my orientation, I talked about creating the T-shaped engineer, right? So the horizontal is the generalist, the vertical is the specialist, and every one of you have come here with at least one vertical, maybe 2 or 3, and my job was to help you develop that horizontal, that generalist.
Exactly. That's
Right.
correct. Exactly. So that mindset shift is not really easy. It doesn't come naturally. It sounds good on paper, but then when you're actually trying to do it, it's not easy at all. Right. So that core mindset shift is what we're looking at here, from I to we, from solving to coaching, or like mentoring, collaborating, from technical to business, and from certainty. Because if you're asked how long will you take to do this product, you're gonna say, I'll take a week. But when you're working with the team, you don't know how long the team will take. So it's about ambiguity, and from doing to prioritizing, because you're not just like, this is what was given to me, I'm going to do it. Now you have a lot of tasks on your hand. You have to prioritize according to time, stakeholders, a lot of other factors. So this core mindset shift is expected. And in the case, we also look at how Nikhil did. He failed, obviously. And then, so like we travel through his journey of how it was in the first 30 days, and the next month, and then the next couple of months, and so on. So it's a little bit of details about how he got help from his seniors. So I've just listed Priya, Deepak, and Meera, who were his bosses, who helped him out through the journey. We also talked about a couple of books that he read, some articles, random conversations, and how working with his team, his subordinates, also helped him helped him shape into a better leader. So we've talked about all of those. And once the case, if someone's reading the case, okay, I forgot to talk about the challenges that remained. So we talk about the successful journey of confidence in 18 months, right? Obviously, that doesn't mean he's now the best leader out there. There are still challenges, and that will remain for any successful manager any day. So having to deal with emotional labor, work-life balance, the constant re-updation of who you are as a person, all of these are challenges that remained for him and will remain for any manager. So we address a little bit about these points as well. And then these are the discussion questions for anybody who's read the case. So do you think every engineer should lead? Why or why not? So we talk about what so actually this is sort of, it would be a very good question point if we had a lot more time, and we could give a little bit more context about the case. These are all the questions that we were looking forward to having a healthy discussion on in this class. Otherwise, yeah, just the whole case is about this transformation journey, if it's right for everybody, if not, why not, if yes, why, and the tools that help in that mindset shift, and just the proper journey of Nikhil and how we could relate to it as individuals who are now pursuing engineering management.
Well, let's pick one of the questions, maybe the question you started with, which is, should every engineer be a leader? Should every engineer lead? Or should we just leave leadership to those who choose to lead, or are chosen to lead, or are somehow gifted to lead? What do you guys think?
I'd like to add here. I think
Sure.
not all engineers prefer to lead, no matter their technical expertise or the expertise. Usually, yeah, the people who are technically very sound, I've often seen that they choose not to lead. And again, in the case of Nikhil's example, I know him personally and really closely. I've worked with him. I worked under him actually. So I used to talk to him, and he used to be like, I didn't choose this. He didn't want to lead, and since it was a small company in the beginning, so that's why he was really having fun, coding and everything. Even though he was doing everything that a manager does, but still he didn't want to take up that responsibility because he knew that he would have to move away from the core duties that an engineer has, like coding and whatnot. So he did tell me, but then he also told me that that was required of the situation, and he did take up that role. He failed in the beginning, but yeah, eventually he learned from his peers, from his mentors, and then yeah, he did succeed. But yeah, not all I think choose to become managers.
Yeah, it's a choice. Sometimes it's thrust upon us and it becomes more of a mandate. Thou shalt lead, right? Whoever is above you says, you're it. Tag, you're it. I had a niece who went to basic training at Great Lakes Naval Air Station, Naval Base, which is maybe 25 miles north of Evanston. And during basic training, she was chosen to become a non-commissioned officer, what they call a warrant officer in the Navy. And I asked, why would you pick her? Because I knew her. I didn't think of her necessarily as a leader. But the senior leadership there said, oh, we watched her. We watched how she interacted with others. And we feel that she's got the leadership qualities. So imagine being in the Navy and having to choose who your non-commissioned officers are going to be based on the behaviors on the floor, on the ground, in the field. Who do people go to, right? Who do people naturally ask questions of? Who seems to have answers? Who's willing to get the answers, right? Who's willing to take a risk and maybe give direction to people that don't necessarily have to listen to them, right? I guess this is it's funny, in my project management class, we cover a lot of this. So I encourage you to think about taking that class. But in that class, we talk about, are you born to lead? Or is this something that you are trained to do, right? And there's two schools and multiple schools of thought around this. But, when in one school it says, you are born to lead. This is the Bible. This is 2,000 years old. This has been around for a long time. This idea that certain people are gifted to lead and certain people are trained to lead. During the war, big war, World War II, we trained thousands and thousands of officers to be leaders, right? And we sent them to schools like Northwestern, who were set up for officers training schools. So anyways, thank you to Team 5. Well done. Nice job. I wish we had more time. If we had spread this over 2 or 3 sessions, we might have had more time to discuss. Let's move on to Team and Group 6. I can share the screen I have here.
Sure, Professor.
Okay. So you guys use ChatGPT to help with a writing project. Why don't you walk us through it?
Yeah, so Professor, I'll share my screen over here. This is overall the AI feedback on how on our concepts of engineering management, different AI reacted. I'll just go ahead and quickly share the screen.
Got it. Okay.
Okay.
While you were doing that, I used AI this morning to figure out new market opportunities for my client, and I literally said, hey, this is my client, look at government opportunities, look at defense opportunities. And it literally was able to do all this mapping in a matter of minutes. It was amazing.
Yep. So I'm really glad that Team 5 picked up a case where we can relate to, where if you are not into leadership and you're forced to, there could be a scenario where you might not end up in the right place. And hence our team felt that we all related to our course on engineering management really well, because the concepts and the case studies that we discussed over that particular course has a lot to understand. It is when we are talking about leadership, when we are talking about managerial skills, we are talking on overall picture of a company. We are looking cross functional. We are not just looking into a product and how we deal with people, because when you start to manage, you also have to look into handling the team, looking into conflicts, and also understanding how this every decision that your particular team is taking is changing the financial decisions or changing the overall picture of how your decisions has been taken up. And there's also a very big part of it, like all this process nowadays we see is change. Is it in a verge where this process will have a big change with AI tools coming into picture? I'll just take you to this particular section on case study, and then like there are a few of the topics that we discussed straight away. Like if I am an engineer, I just look into a product or a problem on per se of how do I solve. But if I'm an engineering manager, I really have to see how the problem is solved, right? And if I go into the case study over here.
By the way, I love that section. That was great. Comparing and contrasting what engineers do and what engineering managers do, right?
Yes. um just 1 second. Yes, so this was one of the case studies that I was mentioning about, Professor, that it at one point of time, it does not matter that how well you are doing as a how individually you are just contributing to a task or a project. At the end, it all boils down that if you are not collaborating with the team and the manager is not doing well, the situation will fall. And the AI tools that I was talking about is over here. Yep. So like in this particular case, when we did on the core deliverables, like how we use like everyone has seen during the engineering management, like we have chat gpt for content generation, and where all chat gpt has won, and it is same with gemini. If we take a lot of data and structuring of the output, that is where we get the best out of it. And when it is Claude, we're talking about the nuances, and like every time there are graphs or tables involved, I don't think as of now anyone else is giving better output than Claude. And all of this process, when we take to the day-to-day work that we are doing as engineers or engineering managers, the tools or the decisions that we take will change here based on the type of tool we are selecting. Yeah.
Do
So
Northwestern students get free access to Claude?
not to Claude, I believe.
Okay.
Yep.
I saw a poster today in the Ford building that said some people can sign up with a QR code to get free access to Claude, ChatGPT, Gemini, and Perplexity as well. I don't know if that works. If that works, I'll share in the wider group.
Yeah, please
Sure.
let us know.
Yep.
So I'd love to get free access too.
Yeah. Okay. And at the end, we had it all summarized as to, a complete setup of, it is like a stepwise process on how you go from an engineer to process, like, if we are really looking into leadership role, we first have to get into effective engineering manager role, then to get into the leaderships. Yep. So
This sounds great. This looks great. A lot of these topics are covered in my project management class. I also did a video
okay.
on transitioning from engineer to manager. So look at the MEM YouTube channel. I think you'll find it in there.
Mm-hmm.
It was called Engineering Management 101. Let me, I can put the link. I can put the link on the chat box here. So
Sure.
All right, any questions for this team? Are you okay if I publish this as well?
Sure, Professor.
Okay. Anyways, I did put the link to that YouTube video. It's almost an hour long, so you're going to have to be patient when you watch it. It really is kind of a checklist of all the things you need to think about as you transition from engineer to manager. I have known so many engineers that were tapped on the shoulder and told they are now a manager. And in fact, it happened to me. And in most cases, by the way, a formal promotion does not happen immediately. So you're a manager in theory, but you haven't been given the title, the promotion, the raise, or any of the things that you would expect to get as a manager. So I deal mostly with the kind of the logistics, the budgeting, the finance, the HR issues, et cetera, that go with being a manager. Any last thoughts, Team 6? Otherwise, I want to thank you. I thought you guys did a great job. Let's give them a round of applause. I want to thank all of you. I thought you all did an amazing job. I hope you enjoyed this seminar series. I tried to give you a variety of voices. I tried to give you a variety of topics, including topics about courses that are coming up, courses and professors you might want to hear from. I didn't want it to be just my voice. And at the end, I wanted it to be your voice. And I think you guys did an amazing job. So I will look to publish this in the best way I can. I want to give you guys as much exposure, notoriety, and credit as possible. If it helps you get a job, if it helps you get noticed to get a job, that's all I care about. That's all I want to do, is help you guys get out there and be successful. Your success is our success. Any last comments before we go? Nobody shared their plans for the winter break, so I'm assuming you're all hunkering down in Evanston. You're getting a nice thick blanket. You're going to watch a lot of streaming TV. You're going to be eating popcorn. Or maybe not. I hope not. I hope to God that's not your winter break. Jad is laughing because he's got way too much work to do, right? Okay. All right. I'll let you guys go. Have a good winter break. If anyone wants to get a hold of me, I put my link, my Calendly link in the chat room as well. So you can always set up a meeting with me anytime you like. Otherwise, have a great holiday and a great break, and I'll see you in the winter. Take care, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks, Mark.
Professor.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.